How's he doing anyways? Is he doing all right? Or?
He looked all right.
Okay, hold on.
All kinds of stuff here.
In his heat, no.
Recording in progress.
I told him as far as
Okay,
the house,
you-
it's getting warm in here, so I know when the air conditioning ain't working, so I belted it. It's working. Probably won't be when I get home, but it's working now.
You are live.
We are live.
Lucky us.
Lucky us. This is Monday, June 21st at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're holding our meeting at this particular time because we have some block grant public hearings we have to have. So if I could ask anyone and everyone to silence their cell phones, and then if I could ask that we stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the minutes, if I could just note that we have Fire Chief Michael Newhall is present, and we also have Sal Stephen Hubbard. She's with Lakes Region, I'll never get the Lakes Region Community Developers, and
Yes.
she is on the line or on the meeting as well.
Okay, all right. Our next, before we get into that, our next order is the minutes of our meetings. We held a meeting on June 8th, 10 o'clock in the morning here. Could I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Yep, I'll move him.
I'll second him.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Oops, sorry.
Stay together.
Yep. Go, Sunny. And then we have minutes of a meeting held on Monday, June 14th, 1 o'clock here. If I could have a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and because, not only because it's 3 o'clock, we are going to, hold some public hearings, in regards to community block grant money project. And should I read, I'll read this little paragraph right at the top.
I'm sorry, they've got
That's
someone
okay, I'll
locked
read-
the
I'll
door.
read- I'll
Someone
read
locked the door on me
That's all
downstairs,
right.
and I'm trying to unlock
Community
it.
develop block grant funds are available to municipalities through the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available for economic development projects. Up to $500,000 for public facilities. Up to $500,000 for housing projects, and up to $500,000 for emergency activities. Up to $25,000 is available per planning study grant. All projects must directly benefit a majority of low and moderate income persons.
Yes.
The public hearings are on the following.
Yes, if I could
Okay.
interrupt you for a
All right,
moment
that's
though,
all right.
please. The first item on the agenda is actually to discuss the draft study report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's item number 1. I'm gonna ask Sal to unmute. Hi, Sal. Are you going to be presenting the draft study report? Donna had included that as part of the discussions for today.
Yes, I can do that. I had actually expected Donna to be here, but since she's not, I'm happy to go ahead and do it. So we had provided the board with a description, I believe, for the public hearing. And I have to find that, I beg your pardon.
Can you hold hold on a moment, Sal? I'm not sure that they can hear you, so I'm going to start my computer and actually move it over to them so that they can see you. For whatever reason, you're not coming through very loud.
Sorry, I can sit closer to my computer as well, that should help, I think.
Well, I'm gonna move this one right over there and let them use this one, just for the volume anyways.
Meeting is being recorded.
I can hear her okay, Jean, so, there you go.
That's fine. You should be able to hear. We're gonna get, see that? Yeah, we're gonna get feedback.
What if only she speaks?
Sal, can you speak? Say something.
Sure, can you hear me now?
Can you hear?
I can read her lips.
Okay, Sal.
So, thank you very much. So the town of Belmont was, kind enough to, provide us with the ability to apply for a $25,000 planning study. That study was to develop the historic, components for applying for funding and determining the eligibility of funding for the redevelopment of the Gale School. So we have completed the historic structure report for the Gale School, and I'll just give a brief description of its findings. The Gale School was built in 1894 and was operated until 1985 and sat vacant at its original location, surrounded by the more modern Belmont schools, until it was moved to the current location at 60 Concord Street in July of 2020. A historic consulting firm, 106 Associates, was hired in the fall of 2020 to assist in compiling the necessary reports to satisfy various grant requirements and to assist the design team in formulating an appropriate strategy for redevelopment of the building. The study was funded with a $25,000 CDBG planning study grant. A proposed use for the building is a daycare center and a facility to provide training to adults in basic life skills. The report lays out the current condition of the building and its historic significance and describes the work contemplated and how that work will need to be done in order to maintain the historic significance. The report finds that the building is historically significant even after its move, and the State Historic Preservation Office has concurred, and that the plan for the building, both in terms of use and in terms of architecture, are compatible with the historic nature of the building. The report lays out recommendations for the rehabilitation method.
Okay. You probably might wanna, well, okay.
I'm not hearing the feedback. I think you may be,
We're hearing the feedback.
Yeah.
It's okay. So basically what we have to do now is, ask for public comment in regards to this report. Is that what you're?
there was really no requirement to do so.
Okay, all right. Then, I guess this report was part of a, public hearing, which will now, close that portion of the public hearing. And now we're going to open another public hearing, with the proposed CDBG application for the Gale School renovation. So this is, and I'll read this. This is a proposed application to the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority for up to $500,000 in 2021 Community Development Block Grant Public Facility Funds, or CDBG/COVID funding. These funds will, in part, finance Lakes Region community developers to make renovations to the Gale School building at 60 Concord Street in Belmont into a daycare and an adult life skills center to serve primarily low and moderate income persons. We would ask for public comment in regards to this. They're just, anyone,
And I would note that Donna Lane is on the call. She has joined us. I don't know if Donna has any comments that she would like to make. We don't have any public present, Donna, other than yourselves and town staff. So I don't know that there's any questions.
I just have one comment so far. On the last one, sorry, I was a little late. Can we ask for public comment on that? I know that there's still
I
no
believe
public,
I
but
did, but there
ask
was
for
no
comment
public
then,
here.
'cause we have to ask for each one.
Okay, so on the study, if we could just go back and ask if there was any public
Okay,
comment.
we'll ask for public comment in regards to the, historic structure report study for the Gale School. There's no public here.
I have a comment.
Oh, you have a
Okay.
I have a
comment?
question.
A question?
Was the public offered this structure report, was it ever, other than today, it's the first time I've seen one. If they weren't watching today, was the public availed of this report prior to this meeting?
So I received the draft report last week. I don't know that they've gotten the final report. Is that correct?
The report will be finalized as of Wednesday. I believe it's going to be submitted to L-CHIP on Friday morning. And we'll also be doing what's called a part one, which is the application to the Secretary of Interior for the National Historic tax credits, and the 106 review, which is required for projects that have federal funds, and they'll all have pretty much the same information in them.
Will the document be made available for the public to review? Will we be able to put it up on our website so that if anyone's interested in reading it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll send me the final report once it's ready.
Again, we are voting on something today.
You were actually not voting on the study. You were strictly voting on the 3 public hearings. Am I correct on it? There's no need for them to vote on the study. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And I don't think the study is gonna change a whole lot from the draft version, just so you know. We're pretty
Okay.
sure that this is how it's gonna end up. It's being tweaked. That's about it. But yes, we're not voting anything on the study. The study was just to present the findings of the study because that was CDBG funded.
Okay.
So now we can jump back to the other public hearing we were in, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And so that
So we're
public
now
hearing-
back at the, proposed CDBG application for the Gale School renovations, which I, spoke earlier. So I guess I will ask for any public comment. No public comment, so I will close that portion of the public hearing. And we will go on to, open a public hearing on housing and community development plan. The town's housing and community development plan identifies needs which currently exist or are anticipated during the next 3 years. The plan provides a basis for guiding the town's housing and community development objectives and actions. A goal has been added to address this proposed project. The goal is to encourage activities that assist the residents, such as daycares, social services, and senior services, short-term and long-term goal. Also, a CDBG citizen participation plan has been added to the HCDP. I will ask for any public comment in regards to this public hearing. Hearing none, we will close this public hearing on the Housing and Community Development Plan. We will now open a public hearing on the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan for the proposed Gale School project. The Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan for the rehabilitation of the Gale School into daycare and adult life skills center to serve primarily low and moderate income persons. No relocation or displacement is anticipated as the building is currently vacant. I will open to any public comment in regards to this. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing in regards to the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan. Now we move on to, the selectmen need to approve the submittal of the Gale School Rehabilitation CDBG application and vote to authorize the chairman, Board of Selectmen, to sign and submit the application, and upon approval of the CDBG application, authorize the chairman, Board of Selectmen, to execute any documents which may be necessary to officiate the CDBG contract and any amendments thereto. So do we just?
So you would make
I'd make
a
a motion to
motion?
accept that, and have you be the authorized signer.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The second item is the selectmen vote to adopt the Housing and Community Development Plan. So I need a motion for that.
Yes, you do.
I'll make a motion, we accept that plan.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the third item is the selectmen vote to adopt the Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan.
I'll make the motion to accept it. The only reason, how can you accept it, you haven't seen it?
Well,
It's in your packet, John, I
Yeah,
believe.
but I mean, we haven't looked at it, I mean, we're voting,
No, the grant application isn't ready for submission yet. Donna, you're going to choose Donna as the grant writer at today's meeting. She'll write that and then submit the application for Ruth's signature before
I'll
it
make
goes
the
in, I
motion.
believe.
so Sonny's made, John's made the motion, sorry.
I'll
Sonny's
second
seconded
it.
it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just didn't understand how we're gonna.
Okay, did we do that all right?
Thank you, perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. No more public hearings.
You'll have one further down, but it
Oh.
has nothing to do with CDBG.
Okay.
Your next,
Everybody,
your
have a good
next,
meeting.
you too, Sal, thank you. Your next order of business is to,
Sal.
Donna had submitted, she was the
Yes.
only individual who did submit, a letter of interest to be the grant writer on this project. It was sent out, I can confirm that Alicia sent that out to all of the agencies that were to receive it, to determine if there was any interest in anyone else submitting a proposal. She was the only one that had submitted.
Okay.
As you know, Donna's worked with the town many, many years on grant writing, and her proposal for the grant writing fee is $4,000 for each of the 2 possible applications that she'll complete. And again, all of the grant writing fees, everything related to the grant application is paid by CDBG, not by the town of Belmont. The town acts as a flow-through, an agent. Basically, the monies come into the town, the town pays the bills, then the monies come back and reimburse the town for.
I'll make that motion that we, make Donna Kerwin Lane the consultant for us.
Okay,
Yep, second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Perfect. Okay, so your next order of business is actually a public hearing that you will, open relative to the Emergency Management Performance Grant application that, the fire chief had submitted to emergency management. This is to, assist the town in updating its, where's my little? Emergency operations plan. Basically,
Required to do it every 5 years.
right.
Oh, so this is something that just automatically happens we have
Every
to
five,
renew it
every 5 years, we have to update the plan,
Yeah.
and usually every 5 years, we get a, partial grant from the state of New Hampshire from Homeland to assist us, or emergency management to assist us in hiring the grant writer or hiring the individual to write the actual plan.
Okay,
With the assistance of Mike, as well as other department heads in the town that assist in the process.
all right, okay.
And you
So
do-
we need to, then open a public hearing to accept the terms of the emergency management, what is it, EMPG?
Right.
Oh, Emergency Management Performance Grant.
Correct.
Okay, trying to get agreement relative to the town's LEOP, which is, Homeland Security, right?
Emergency operations plan.
Oh, okay. Oops. So we will open it, Mike, you wanna say anything on this? Help?
It's required to do it every 5 years. There's no difference in the hazardous mitigation plan that we just did last year.
Okay,
And it's matching, what it is we put our time in, the grant, and basically, we write the grant, it doesn't cost the town any money.
okay, all right, okay. Is there anyone here from the public that has any comments? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and we need just.
Yes, you need to the board needs to make a motion to accept the grant agreement terms as presented.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, okay.
And I have that document for your signatures, please. There are 3 places, so each of you will sign here, and then it's that lovely one that you have to initial each page on the bottom.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind doing that.
$20 a signature.
So loud.
Lift off.
Lift off. Here you go, John.
I tried to put the stickies on each page so that,
Ain't working.
are they falling off? Of course.
Yeah, humidity.
Well, when you stack them up on top of each other, it's hard to separate them.
Yeah.
My placement was poor then.
That's his,
And with fat fingers, can't do it.
that's okay, they'll check them, and if we forget one, I'm sure they'll hunt us down,
Got it
right?
here.
It seems like you signed more than I did.
Page.
Did I
Yep.
miss one? Or
Yep.
2?
You did,
Yeah.
you did.
Page,
Good.
page 3. Give us one.
next order of business is discussion relative to the Winnipesaukee River Basin Program grant. Oh, no.
No.
Sorry. Proposed change in the billing for flow.
So for the past, oh goodness, probably a minimum of 4 years, the town of Belmont, as a member of the advisory board, has been working with the other communities to develop a formula based on flow in order to bill for the operation and maintenance piece of the plant in Franklin. It's been a long and tedious process. Many of the communities that are part of the Winnie actually have readings for their sewer usage. Belmont does not, because we don't meter it. We basically bill them a flat monthly fee, so we're not billing based on the amount of usage in the household. So we had to take all of the data that we had about each of the properties that are on the sewer system and assign a per household value for the number of gallons that we anticipate are actually being discharged into the pipe. So we went through that process. We did involve Underwood in that process to assist us. It was very, very helpful to have them involved. They were involved with the city of Franklin as well, so they actually worked with both of us because the city of Franklin had some similar issues, as well as Northfield, and the other community was Tilton. So we all worked together along with the other communities. Wes Anderson has been chairing the process for the city of Laconia, and we have come up with a process for assigning flow to each of the communities that don't have meters and are not reading their flows through their pump stations. And we've determined that at least Belmont's portion of the cost for O&M is going to increase by about $22,000 per year based on flow calculations that
How many
we have.
customers do we have on sewer?
We have about 1,400 customers on sewer. So, yeah, there's quite a few. And most of them are located over on the Route 3 side of town. So, for example, in some of the trailer park, Kate's Mobile Home Park, things like that, and there's no flow metering. We're looking currently at possibly installing some flow metering in our current pump stations to assist and make certain that we're calculating this correctly and not just trying to assign flow.
Gene, there was some discussion several years ago about, on Lad Hill, that the water was going into some of the drains that are going to the septic system and going actually into the septic system that goes to Franklin from the highway drains. It shouldn't be, should it?
They
That
should not be.
sealed.
The stormwater drain should not be going into the sewer at all.
Because that was
Exactly, right, exactly. We do have what we call I&I. So if you go down to where the Nancy Drive pump station is, that area down along the lake, Pond Street, Linda Drive, Nancy Drive, in that general area is very low. So there is a lot of groundwater down there, and we do have some infiltration that Craig is going to be looking to hopefully get corrected in the next year or so as part of the process. So, because what happens with that is it does infiltrate, it goes into the it goes into the storm catch basins, that does go into the sewer, and then we are calculating.
So everyone that is on the sewer isn't necessarily on the water.
Correct. We only
That's
have.
why you can't
Correct.
take a water amount and do a formula to get the sewer amount.
We can for the village. So for everything in the village, everyone's on the water, so we're able to do that.
You're doing that?
They're able to do that with that. They're using the actual readings and so forth, and we're using the actual readings for, like, Sun Lake Village. They have their own well, so they have meter readings, so we're using it for there.
There you go.
Westview Meadows, the same thing. Peter supplied readings to us for that location. It's those properties that
That
have
are not.
nothing but sewer that we're having to accommodate and work with.
All right.
So, The 22,000 is based on fiscal year 19, cost estimates that were available to the engineer to kind of give us a general idea of how the rates were gonna be fluctuating because of the change in how we're calculating. And that was, so it was about 22,000 a year, so.
It's not a huge increase.
It's, you know, it's, unfortunately, we're in that situation where we have to pay it.
It is
Yeah,
what it is.
Yeah,
You gotta-
exactly. So they did vote, I was unable to make the meeting on Wednesday morning, and Alicia did, sit in on that meeting for me, and they did vote at that point to phase the structure, phase this new formula in over 3 years. So it won't hit us immediately, it'll be a phased-in process.
And I assume that that's going to be collected through the rate.
Yep, it'll be collected, you know, will we have to potentially increase our sewer rate a little bit? We may.
Oh, that's what I figured you would.
But right now, our sewer rate's extremely low, we haven't touched it in about 5 years now, so it's been quite some time, so we may have to tweak it a bit.
So if they're talking phasing this in 3 to 5 years, then it would probably, so we need to come up with a plan
Yeah.
to be able to increase the rates.
Yeah, and what
accordingly.
we would do would be to basically take the anticipated amount of
Right.
increase and divide it by the
By
number
how many
to see
users.
where we'd wanna be
Okay.
for
Yep.
that quarterly
Alright.
rate.
Okay, all right. So that's, we don't need to do anything
You don't need to
with that.
do anything, I would just, it probably would be helpful to have a motion just saying that you've accepted the logic in, they've already voted,
Right.
to
I mean, we have no
move forward.
choice, it doesn't really,
Exactly,
it
right.
doesn't really matter, and
But
it's
you're
just-
not in disagreement with the methodology that's
No.
been proposed.
And it's just the fact that to make sure that we, obviously, these costs have to be,
Passed on,
passed on
correct.
to the users, and it's just important that they understand. Now, are they going to receive something? Is there,
Yes, so when we actually, get ready to take a look at the sewer rates, we would send a notice out that
Okay.
you'll hold a public hearing.
All right.
So that people
Okay.
can come in and understand why,
Why
you know, the
they're
rates are
required.
being
Okay, good.
increased and
All
so
right.
forth.
okay, good.
So on Friday afternoon, we received 2 bids only on the property located at 3 Welcome Road. We did not receive any bids on the property off of Dearborn Street, so no one submitted a bid for that piece. The 2 bids that came in for Welcome Road, the low bidder, insisted on, getting his deposit check back at the time of the opening. Alicia was kind enough to work through that with him, and so there is nothing for you to consider. Had he left the check with us, it would have been part of the discussion, but because he took the check back, he really is no longer a qualified bidder. So we only have the 1 bid, on the property, and that was from, David Ellis and Lee Ann Fay Ellis. They bid $31,698 for the property. They did submit their $5,000 bank check as a deposit, and they are prepared to pay the remaining balance, by June 25th of $26,698.
Of 22,
But of
22.
2022,
There's 22, June 22, they gotta make it by.
is that an error? So in other words, they're saying a year
They
from
prior
now?
to June 20, they got a year to make it.
Are you reading the bid notice? They
They prior to June 25th, 2022 is the way this reads.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. No, that has to be paid immediately, so I will notify.
They did call today.
They did
said-
call to
yeah.
correct that? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
They said they'll be
I didn't
back
even
Friday.
catch that, John. I
I'm gonna
just,
start proofreading this.
you
stuff.
better. I didn't type it. I didn't type it. I didn't type it.
They did.
They did.
They did. But they did
I didn't even
call
catch
and
it.
ask what the status was, and
Okay.
they know. By Friday.
The minimum bid for the property, which was 24.5, I didn't even, yeah.
Yeah.
The minimum bid, which was 24.5, did include all the back taxes that were owed on the property and the costs that were associated with us taking the building down and paying Casella for those fees.
So we owe no money back to the homeowner.
We do,
Previous homeowner.
we have to put the difference, the balance of $7,000 in a bill of interpleader with the courts to determine if there's any, heirs to the former
They
homeowner.
come out like ants on sugar.
Well, and we have nothing to do with the process, it's strictly through the courts, we just turn the money over to them and say, you know, we pay for any legal fees to file the bill of interpleader from the monies that are left, so
So we get all our invested monies in our.
we
tax.
get our 24,500 that was owed us, yes, yeah. So we do have a deed, that is prepared, for your signatures.
Yeah,
That's the next meeting, I just,
no, 21, this is not,
the next meeting, you don't play your French on me.
what am I saying?
Well, I picked on it the other day.
Oh,
Next
Yeah,
meeting
I
is
fixed it.
20, see?
got it.
So I do have the quitclaim deed for your signatures.
Yep.
We'll also have in next week's documents, the forms for the Department of Revenue Administration that you'll have to sign
That's
as
right, we
well.
have to do that.
But if you could sign the deed, Alicia will notarize that, and then, we'll have that ready when they do bring in the checks.
Awesome. Okay.
I would like to buy a sign or signs or something, and not expensive, that, like the property on Dearborn Street, should we try once more time to sell that, which is probably our due diligence, that says town-owned property for sale and a online number. I mean, that Dearborn Street property gets a lot of traffic, and unless they're watching for town-owned property or someone of their friends lived in the area, I think like you'll find out that the seller's family, because of the neighbors, they knew somebody and said, hey, this is.
And we could certainly do that the next time we go to put it out to bid.
Yeah.
Yep, we could do that.
On
And
any
it
of
could
them,
be,
not
and
just
it
that
could
one.
just be a generic sign
Yeah,
that you can
generic
put
sign.
anywhere.
Right, town-owned property for sale.
Yeah, good idea. Do we have any other new business?
Yes, so I have the MS 535, which is part of the audit process, for your signatures. This is just a document summarizing the income and expenses for the calendar year 2020, that goes into the Department of Revenue, and I just need your acceptance and signatures on that. The auditors complete that and submit that for us.
And the audit is done, correct?
The
That's all
audit,
been done.
they have been in and completed the work. It is not, the audit report is not ready yet, but.
Okay. Nope, sorry.
Thank you. The next item of new business is the Lakes Region Consortium, who has been meeting to negotiate our new cable TV franchise with Atlantic Broadband. The town of Northfield has asked to become a member of that consortium. And because you had already signed the original agreement that did not include them, the Board of Selectmen do need to make a motion to admit them into the process. And on your meeting summary that I gave you with your packet today is the actual motion that I need for our attorney in order to process this. So it should be in dark print. Yeah.
Would you like to make that motion, Joan?
I don't see my letter to G. I was gonna read
It's
the
second
next steps.
page.
Yeah.
No, you're in the wrong
Right there.
place, up
Yeah.
front.
Down towards the bottom, right here, on the very second page of your packet.
Way back in the beginning, yeah. The second, and it'd be G down at the bottom, the real dark portion.
The town of Northfield has requested to join the consortium of Lakes Region communities relative to the negotiations for a new franchise agreement with Atlantic Broadband. The board needs to vote to agree to allow them to join. Each current community as a consortium will be voting in the same manner. This motion should not be the Board of Selectmen does hereby approve the admission of the town of Northfield to the consortium of municipalities of Alton, Deerfield, Franklin, Guilford, Gilmerton, Laconia, New Durham, and Northwood as a member of the municipality pursuant to the intermunicipal agreement signed by the current member of municipalities, subject to the town of Northfield executing an IA agreement and the engagement letter with DTC lawyers, counsel to the consortium.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any other new business?
For the record, we have had 2 employees submit their letters of resignation, one being Kyle McGann with the Belmont Fire Department, which I had forwarded to you last week. And we did receive at the end of last week and was confirmed this morning that Russell Wheeler is going to resign at the end of July. So we can discuss further in non-public, but as far as getting the advertisement and so forth out, he has determined that he is going to leave.
Okay, all right. Okay. No other new business then?
I don't have any other new business.
Old business.
Have you come to a conclusion? Did you want to discuss further
Oh,
the
the fire-
storage,
not
the
the fire
storage
department,
building?
the
Yes,
police.
the police department storage piece.
Well, I actually made a couple inquiries after our last meeting in regards to that particular, site, just to get a couple other, opinions, and I do concur with Barrett's, wholeheartedly, his discussion in regards to what it would cost to put a storage facility on that site. And I actually received, estimates between $250 and $350 if we were to tear down that small addition and not use it for storage. That's what we could be contending with in a year or so down the road. I know that anyone that I've talked to, yes, is building materials gonna come down? Maybe some, but they're not gonna go back to what they were, so that tends to be. As far as I'm concerned, I think all the work that got put into this new building, I would hate to think that within, I'm gonna say 8 feet, we have this old building. To me, there isn't enough room. It could become a fire hazard, it could become a real problem, all right? And my other 2 cents is, if you leave that there, it's going to become a catch-all, whether it be for the police department, whether it be for someone else. And I just don't think that that's the spot to leave that, by any means. I wanna see it gone. I will agree to keeping the storage facility. I think that's, spending, again, we don't have the final numbers. What was the number? Was it 65?
65.
And that was a guesstimate.
And that was a guesstimate. That was, I think, maybe high guesstimate from what he kind of indicated
Well,
to us.
I went in it again the other day, and I was lucky enough to get in the back end of it. And to be quite frankly, I was pretty appalled. There's never been a shelf put in the building, in that side of it, so he must have, I'm gonna guess, probably 300 or 400 carpenter tools that he's taken as part of investigation.
Oh, yeah.
That are laying all over the floors, and it's very disarrayed. So if someone went in now and said, we've got a court case, it's gonna take somebody quite a while, because he's gotta give them a list of what they took from the people that robbed Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
And probably Mr. Jones right now has bought other tools, because they've been there a long time because of probably COVID.
Yeah, they've all replaced them with new tools.
Yeah. But they're laying all over the floors. So if we do vote to do this, we wanna make sure that that has some kind of shelving thing put in there to put the stuff on, so you can identify it and put it, and the tag should be categorized with the department paperwork. So if it's a green tag or an orange tag, they look and say, Joe Smith, that's an orange all, everything in orange is his.
And I assume it doesn't have to be any fancy thing, it's just,
Cardboard tag, but-
I mean shelving
No,
wise,
no,
it can
not-
just
not-
be,
not- Nothing too deep.
right,
But,
right.
but a lot of this, I mean, it's on the floor in there, and I realize the front part looks a little cluttered, because they have a huge storage unit that's gonna go in the new police station, folded up and against the wall in there, and I appreciate that. But I do think we should keep it, I did have one of the policemen say, wouldn't it be great to put the 3 overhead doors back in the front, and make it like it was the fire station again, because we could put cars in the front, and I said, well, I come up with the idea of saving the back for the storage, because everybody I talk to in every police station, that seems to be, because the cost of building, they're renting stuff. And if you add up the rental, you're in trouble again.
We probably got 30 bicycles already.
Now, how long do you have to hold those?
Theoretically, 30 days. Currently, in the current law, we have to get a judge's order, and then we have to auction.
I thought,
With the new legislation that went through, that I believe has passed,
you signed it.
just needs to be signed, after 30 days, I can blow it up, and I will.
So you don't need a judge, or you don't need an auction,
He's
or
made the
you don't
authority as
need,
the chief of police to do that.
yeah, okay.
And what we've done historically in the past is there's 2 different people that restore bicycles from broken bicycles, and they give those to children. So there's no money involved. A family doesn't buy them, no kids that need bicycles, they give them bicycles. And they make them out of the parts that they salvage from the other ones. So it's kind of a cool thing. Laconia does the same thing. Their bikes go to the same group of guys, and that's what they do.
They had it on Channel 9 last week, there's 2 guys down in, just outside of Manchester, Auburn, that retired guys, they'll put up a
They
shop
do
and
the
they're
same
taking
thing.
these and they put them back together and they give them away.
It's really a nice thing that they do. Joe Bush was part of that program. He's restored, I don't know how many bikes. A lot of bikes, and he's given them away.
But the governor
He's
signed
given
that,
them
and that was the reason for their article about these other people, because he did sign it because of the storage, because you got bicycles over there and you got
out. I've
bicycles.
got bicycles everywhere. We're actually hiding them now. That's what that storage unit with all the tools, we had to yard everything out of there, to throw the tools in there, so we could lay them out, so people could come in and look at the tools that they lost. It's just, this is the second tool case we've had. There'll be more. You know, and it's just, you're right, storage is an issue.
But in that proposal, we should pass something, you know, in talking to the general manager, when Sonny and I talked to him, when we went just to take a look one morning about it, and, you know, when we looked at the size of your garages, you take a truck the size of his, ain't going in those garages.
No,
Or they're not really a garage, they're part of your building. Whereas if you had one you impounded, this would work. But I do think we need, because I said, look at the tire racks, and well, that should diminish, so we could use these rather than build or transpose dirty, rotten, old wooden ones into that new building.
right.
And that,
Because I figure about a year and a half, we will not have a tire issue. Because they'll be done at Northeast Tire, or if that's, we're still treating this right and gets a state bid, and we won't be housing. Right now, I've got enough tires right now to finish this summer and probably start next summer with summer tread tires. And then once we burn those off, we'll then be into the all-season ones. It's just a one and done. So they get rotated every oil change. When we burn them off, it's a 4-tire set. So it's not, unless we obviously get a flat or something. It's the only way to do it.
I agree with the way you're doing it, I agree, I just didn't wanna see, you build a new building, and either you put steel racks up and paint them, cause there's nothing clean about a used tire.
See, we were gonna put racks in there, and I was gonna, and I had people that were gonna donate me some time and some, I guess, some lumber. The problem was, we didn't know back at the time whether or not the new building was gonna pass. Because we were extending that evidence room halfway into that room. We were gonna cut a keyhole in that wall. That would connect into the evidence room, and we were gonna build a secondary wall down about the middle of it. And then shelve the evidence room side
just, you know, I drove by and I looked, and it's just, you know, it's almost like it's so close, it's, yeah.
Well, it would change the entryway if you kept that first part of the building. You'd have to enter off of Sergeant Street.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's too close. It kinda, and unfortunately, and I don't wanna say the building it's old, it's ugly. I don't wanna say it's ugly, but it's old, all right? It's time. I mean, the whole purpose with doing this was to have a new police station, have it look nice, and that would just, yeah. And I know there was some discussion that maybe future, but you can't, how are you gonna do anything future in that building with the police department right there? I mean, we've come to meetings before and, you know, there's some interesting people sitting on the sidewalk or whatever and, no, you know.
That's one of those things, you toss it up and down,
Yep.
do I, don't I, but on the same token, in 5 years, if you have to put something up, why do you go back and say, when they come to you and say, you had it?
Right, and that's.
Now you're asking us for all this money to build.
Right. I would
that.
be very embarrassed to think that 2-3 years from now, I've gotta ask the taxpayers of the town of Belmont to come up with $300,000, and 2-3 years ago, we tore it down, and we could have had everything we had for 65, and, yeah, so, that's my 2 cents worth on it. Guys, it's up to you.
I brought it up in the beginning, so you know
I
I'm
know.
gonna vote.
Well, you know,
I'm saying we need to do it. Hopefully they'll treat us as right as they can, but, yeah, I think we gotta do it.
Sonny?
Yeah, I agree. Do what we gotta do.
I think 65,000 is more than enough, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think they've
and
been pretty good
hopefully
to us
it
so
will be
far,
less.
so maybe
I
they
mean-
will be.
I think most of that money's gonna get eaten up and cut in the concrete. You know, a good part of it, bringing in the solder, cut that down.
Are you sure it's not, are you sure it's not a separate slab?
The
How
slab,
come the
all the slab is there, it's the concrete walls from the original fire station.
Oh,
They're saving the wall.
I
But
see.
they have to cut the other wall
Got it.
off, so when they tear it down, they don't pull the whole structure.
Right.
I see.
So you gotta do a saw cut.
Okay,
I'm,
yeah.
well, at least 2 walls, so that's, that's where the money is,
Yeah.
doing a truss and framing up the
That's
outside,
all right,
even
yeah.
at $100 a sheet of
Yeah, right,
plywood,
right.
you're utilizing the vinyl again, you're
Yeah.
just taking the vinyl off the building that we have,
Mhm.
you can pressure wash it, make it look pretty,
Yeah,
and it's done.
all right. All right, well, I guess that's the consensus, then we will move
Then we'll
forward with
go,
that.
we'll move forward? Okay,
Yes.
I'll let them know tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
One other thing though, there's no water in there,
Right, I know, that's the.
Just the heat, just the heat.
Just the heat,
and the heat, as far as I'm concerned, only gets turned on when we're in there actually doing something.
well, and the other,
We're gonna keep that as a cold storage building,
right, but the other nice
but if
thing
we're
is,
13 cars in the winter and stuff, we can run the heat. I just don't want my guys to think they got a gym,
right,
okay?
nope, it's no gym,
Just so we got an understanding here,
nope,
there's no
Right.
gym.
nope.
No, I get, in the evidence room, I have no problem leaving that where it is now. But I
Yes.
wanna put some marking shelves to get it, so if you walk in there, you're not climbing over tools to go to the back of the room.
Right,
Cause the lady that opened the door banged her leg on some junk that was already sitting there.
no doubt. You know,
Well,
now I've got the garage filled with all the racks and everything, so
Yeah.
it's not easy to get around.
No, I'm sure. And obviously, this is a time to do it because we can bury the conduit, the electricity's buried, and the fuel back to the
Thanks all
back to the tank is done. It's neat, it stays neat, and it's done right.
Right.
Okay, all right.
And they'll pave over it, so
Then they
it's
pave over,
perfect.
that's exactly right. Good, all right. Any other old business, Jean?
We have the application to the local fiscal recovery fund has gone in for our first payment of $384,000 that will come to the town. Those funds, we're looking to hopefully repair and reline well number 1.
So we did get an estimate on that then.
We're
Oh, okay, working on it.
We are, right now, I have a request into Gopher and to US Treasury to determine if we have to go through the procurement process, which would mean we will have to go out to bid
Oh,
on that
okay.
project.
Oh, all right.
Barry is working up his numbers, and
All right.
I've asked them to consider him as a sole source vendor,
Yeah.
someone that has worked on our system for forever, knows it inside and out, and we really feel that that's the best choice, but if we have to go through the other process, we'll have to go through the other process.
So my next question is if we have to put it out to bid, and his is the only bid we receive, is that all right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
because it's,
Yeah, they're,
I don't see no problem.
yeah, the number of individuals that do that type of work are few and far
right,
between.
they are, and
Yeah.
it's trying to get them.
And then our second payment of $384,000 will come in June of 2022.
Okay.
So we will be looking for other projects that meet the project requirements under the funds. And so we'll be looking at that.
Does this building fall under any of that? This
Yes, so the HVAC could conceivably, for HVAC, heating and ventilation for this building, yes. And I would hope that by June of '22, we'll have some idea of where we're
Right,
going
that's
with this building.
Basically,
So, yeah,
we need to lay out the floors.
yeah, yeah.
We have to
determine
lay
where
out the
they-
floors and know exactly how things are gonna be laid out, so then we can get the HVAC and maybe even the electrical if we were that lucky. I don't know if that, yeah.
But, yeah, so
Okay.
we're,
But the HVAC can't work without electricity.
that's true. So, you will,
Goes away.
Yeah,
you will be holding a public hearing on July 12th to accept those funds. It'll be posted in the newspaper. And again, the intent is that we are repairing and relining well number 1. That is the description of the work to be done,
Good,
so,
awesome, which is needed to be done for a long time.
absolutely, yes,
Good. All right,
yes.
awesome, okay.
And you had asked the other day about speaking to the bathrooms in the park.
Oh, right, thank you, I forgot about that, see? I received a message asking when we were going to be opening the bathrooms in the park,
This part over here?
evidently. Right,
Never.
okay, well, that was,
I mean, unless we have a function going on there, that's gonna be overseen by the town. In other words, if we have we've had employee events there, we've had,
sure,
no, actually, when they had a Christmas thing there, they had vendors showing off their stuff, and they were locked that day. They were there, but they were selling trinkets and Christmas stuff, but they were locked. I don't wanna open those to the public,
well, and obviously, one of the biggest problems is if we open them, we gotta clean them,
and we gotta close them.
and we gotta close them.
And I did put a request out to Patrick. I said, so give me your thoughts. I said, you're gonna have to open it and shut it every day and clean it.
Right.
And his biggest concern is vandalism, and more so during the day. He came by this weekend, and there were a group of kids apparently that were playing basketball on the bandstand. And he told them to stop and shooed them off and sent them on their way. And it did do some damage to the boards, so we've had to bring someone in to fix the boards. So it's, it's just crazy. I mean, and that's not really vandalism per se, that's just kids being
Adolescent
kids.
ignorance.
Yeah.
All right, that answers that question?
So we're just not, I don't recommend that we do it. I think
We do it at the beach. When we have somebody attending the beach, we had to.
We-
open
right,
them up and then we close
right.
them.
Right.
Right, and, you haven't had I haven't seen any complaints about, the beach seems to be going well?
yeah.
Have you seen, yeah? I did see, there was a few, comments today on the community page about, well, what do you have to do to get a beach sticker? And people were responding back and
Well,
forth.
I listen to Cynthia, because she's bad at what's with these. She's got too many, she's just doubled the beach stickers. Doubled her order. Because if you got a car, you got 2 cars.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You need 2 stickers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, now these people coming in, well, my cousin from Virginia's coming for the weekend.
No,
You better take them in your car.
right, because they're not getting their own sticker.
Oh, I see, oh, interesting, oh, all right,
No.
okay. all right. So our next meeting is July 12th?
Yes, and I don't know if anyone has any other public comment. You have
I have
Oh,
one thing.
the
one
chief.
thing, all right.
Okay, easy. Obviously, within a month, as I've been told, we'll start moving our stuff into the new building, which means I will start emptying the storage unit up in Mitchell's. The credenza, which is potentially gonna come down here,
Yeah, we need to
is
put it,
in there.
yeah,
I can't see paying to keep it there until next year.
right.
So, with this addition now for storage, I should be able to store that easy enough.
No, I think it should be someplace where it's
But if you put
heated.
it down here,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to continually move it, you're gonna damage it.
Is it something that can go on the third floor?
It won't fit in the elevator.
It won't fit in the elevator, all right. Yeah,
So we cover it.
You know, it's good
I'd rather put it in here till everything's opened up in your little building, emptied out, and to go from here to there isn't gonna kill us.
Okay.
But your building emptied out, if we've gotta paint it before we start over in the inside, I want that to look brand new on the inside when we move into it.
Yeah. I just didn't wanna move this thing too many times.
I don't blame you.
It's a nice piece of furniture, and
yeah.
to damage it would be a.
I don't know what's downstairs left down there.
Yeah, I honestly haven't been in. I know they cleared out a bunch of the chairs and
Yeah.
there was some old modines there and they got
That's
rid
pretty,
of
that-
those.
that's
and-
pretty much open in the back, you still got some stuff in the back inside.
Yeah, and that stuff's gonna be gone.
Okay, so if that stuff's gone, Mark, we can put it back there.
Okay,
And then have them work leave the front open where they can work and then bring it out.
no problem,
I understand your thought,
What we're gonna do with it, just so it doesn't get damaged.
Yeah,
I understand that.
And I have, I've put my name on the, mini split that's located in the dispatch center. It's actually going to be installed in Cynthia's office, to replace the air conditioning that she has in
Through the
that space.
yeah.
So, Patrick's looked at it, we'll be able to get it done without too much,
Sure, I
too
mean,
much
if
effort.
there's anything in
And
that,
it
if there's
just made
anything,
sense.
I mean, it's right. We
Yep,
shouldn't-
so I reached out to the chief
My
and,
only suggestion, if I could interject one, is to have home energy move it,
yes, and that was the plan,
because.
yeah, yeah. No,
if you have to
Patrick will,
extend the pipe or do anything,
right, oh, no,
then,
no, no,
you
no, no,
know,
no, it would be
it's gotta-
them.
It's gotta be
It would
available
be
for
them.
service.
Yep.
I was just saying, you
Absolutely.
want it serviced, and if you want them
We
to,
did,
yeah.
we did the service for
Yes.
this year, so.
But you still want them to continue to service.
Yes,
it.
absolutely, no,
Yeah.
Patrick just had kind of figured out where it could go, so,
Right.
but he wasn't gonna do the work.
Okay.
We're probably gonna have to have some electrical work done too, I
Has to have
think,
an outside
yeah.
power source.
yeah,
Yep.
so. But we did earmark that for Cynthia's office and she's excited, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Plus, that will be far quieter.
Oh, much
She
quieter.
says between the plastics, you can't hear anybody.
Can't hear.
She's sitting right behind you,
yeah,
and your girls on the other end of the office don't get any air conditioning, and you,
Yeah.
like a day this afternoon, you got that thing cranking,
yeah,
can't hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We like our mini split.
Yeah.
It's super efficient
And it is,
too.
it is
I mean,
quiet.
it does a nice job.
Yep, that it
I mean,
does.
you figure we're dispatching over a radio system and no one can hear it, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
And the mic is pretty sensitive.
yeah. And I guess the other thing is there anything else? I mean, you know, we wanna, I mean, I don't know, you know, you guys wanna, I have no idea.
No, That was really, I think,
Yeah.
the one real nice salvageable
I mean,
piece of equipment.
I don't know what the demo company's gonna take in their bid, whether they're gonna take the solid core doors. You know, I mean, you've got solid wood doors, you got other things in there that if you were gonna do any transformations in here or add an office somewhere, you might need a door. I mean, I don't know. Hard to say.
Mm.
All right. All right, we'll have to think about that a little bit. When are they, we're gonna start thinking about it, right?
Time
All right.
flies and you're having fun.
Yeah.
Chief Newhall, did you have any comments? You need to unmute,
unmute.
there he is.
I'm all set, thank you.
You're all set? Okay, thank you. Okay, did the board wish to go into non-public to talk about that,
Oh,
resignation?
yes, yes, oh, I
Right,
forgot about
so,
that, okay, so non-public 91-A:3,
Roman numeral two,
Two.
small letter B.
long, small letter.
And let me shut everything off,
All
please,
right.
before you, John, before you start speaking over there.
Yeah, just wait.
Let me go shut the other recording off.
this is gonna be a convert.